This evening we have a presentation, and we are fortunate to have Christina Fernandez with us, and we're going to receive a presentation on the San Mateo County's Get Us Moving initiative for transportation funding.
Good evening, Mayor, Medina, and City Council members. Thank you so much for having Get Us Moving San Mateo County here tonight. We're excited to share with you what we've learned in Phase 1 and what we're planning for Phase 2. So San Mateo County has a whole host of, obviously, traffic conditions, and we are using Get Us Moving San Mateo County as a way to learn from our community what residents think about transportation funding and how it should be spent. Last year, Assemblymember Mullen had AB 1613, had authored AB 1613, which would allow a half-cent sales tax, and it could provide $80 million per year. It does need a 2/3 approval from the county voters, and it could be placed on the ballot in November of this year. It will only go to the voters if the SamTrans Board and the County Board of Supervisors approve it first. So in Phase 1, we've gathered feedback from the community. We had 140,000 surveys mailed, 10,000 surveys distributed by hand, 120 participants at 4 town hall meetings, 50 presentations to city councils, business, community, and civic groups, 8 stakeholder and technical advisory groups. We did outreach on TV, social media, and we also did some polling. We received over 14,000 responses, and as you will see, we heard consistent themes regarding what the residents were concerned about the most, including highway traffic, local congestion and potholes, as well as improving transit service. This is a word cloud. In Phase 1, we had a comment box, and folks were free to fill in whatever they would like, any comments, and these were the most prevalent comments. As you will see, congestion and traffic were the most, appeared the most. As for the survey results, the top priorities, we asked residents to pick their top 5 out of 12 options, and the top 5 included highway traffic, local congestion, potholes, transit mobility, and transit time. You can also see transit mobility, transit travel time, and transit for commuters are all public transit categories. And if you take all of those together, there is a concern regarding improved public transit. It's one of the leading community concerns. We also we took the mean of the scores, and so the top priority would garner 5 points, the second priority 4 points, and the third priority 3 points. The mean score allows us to see the true sense of priorities because it takes into account the full ranking. And regardless, we had the same consistent themes as we did even if you hadn't taken the mean into account. Highways and local streets, pothole repair, and improved public transit were the key issues for the community. This is the breakdown by city. We were very successful in hearing from all corners of the county, and we did outreach to north, mid, south, and coast side. We also did some polling. So even with more than 14,000 responses, surveys are self-selective, and we did some high-quality scientific polling. There was a clear preference with voters for the 30-year sunset, and so that's what we're moving forward with for Phase 2. And that's what I'll show you next. This is an initial polling question. Shall San Mateo County Transit District's ordinance levying a 30-year half-cent sales tax with independent citizen oversight providing $80 million annually that the state cannot take away might be adopted? And that's to reduce traffic congestion on highways 101, 280, 92, 84, and interchanges, repair potholes, maintain streets, and reduce local traffic, maintain and enhance transit services for seniors and people with disabilities, improve and expand Caltrain and SamTrans service to reduce travel times and car trips, and implement the San Mateo County Traffic Improvement Plan. So as you can see, support has increased over the past polls. It's now at 74%, whereas last year, during the initial test, it was 65%. We also tested positive messages, which included things like the state could not take away the funding, and our local streets and roads are falling apart. The measure will help stop the deterioration. The measure would help reduce traffic congestion on freeways and major streets like El Camino Real. The measure will attract millions of dollars in state, federal, and private matching funds. And after hearing positive arguments, 78% support the measure. We also tested negatives. And despite hearing negative arguments, 72% still support the measure. This suggests that the ballot question as tested in the survey is in alignment with resident priorities. So the themes are pretty consistent: traffic on highways and local streets, potholes, and transit. We had 4 town hall meetings at the San Mateo Library, Menlo Park Senior Center, Pacifica Community Center, and the South San Francisco Council Chambers. And we heard the same consistent themes: traffic on highways, potholes, and transit. Some of them did vary. In Menlo Park, Dumbarton was a huge issue. On the coast, besides potholes, residents wanted more bus service. North County, there was an emphasis on smart transit and best practices, and Mid-County wanted big highway and infrastructure projects. We also have stakeholder and technical advisory groups. Each city was invited to participate in the TAG, and dozens of community groups, organizations, and the private sector were active in the stakeholder advisory group. And with that, we are now launching our budget challenge. It is at the same website as Phase 1, getusmovingsmc.com, and it allows you to allocate the $2.4 billion according to your own priorities and see how you would budget that money. This is an example of the budget tool. It basically asks, with new funding, how much should go where? And the categories include highway, repair potholes, reduce local congestion, public transit, eliminate traffic backups at Caltrain crossings, bike pedestrian, and Dumbarton crossing. So we are hosting a second round of town hall meetings. We've had 2 in North and Central County, and our next one is on Thursday in Half Moon Bay, and then next on May 31st in Redwood City. And we would ask you all to please join us and get the word out. So if you could all please help spread the word about Get Us Moving and encourage your networks to please take the budget challenge so we can make a really well-informed decision going forward. Thank you so much. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Christina. Any questions from council, colleagues? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.